Welcome to another day of career adventure. And today we're going to do what they used to say. We're going to knock out two things at one time. So, we're going to talk about two clusters today. We're going to explore architect and construction, and we're also going to talk about agriculture and natural resources. So, we're going to do dual duty today. I've got a friend with me, so say hello today to Paul, our construction worker and our safety guy. So he's going to sit back while we talk about two areas. Hmm, think about it. Why did I put those two clusters together? So I bet you're wondering why I have all of these items in front of me. So let's talk first about agriculture. And then we're going to read about construction workers. What is agriculture? Well, it's a science and practice of farming. Do you remember earlier we talked about farmers and all of the healthy vegetables you saw when the community book earlier was talking about all of the community helpers? Well, they cultivate the soil. That's what farmers do in agriculture for crops to grow. You know, all that good stuff you eat, like carrots and cabbage and all those healthy vegetables. But they do more than that. Have you passed a farm and seen cows on the farm and other animals out there that you're wondering, pigs, what do they do with them? Well, they all use them to provide the food that we eat. They provide wool covering for us, for clothing, and lots of other things. So, how does that tie in with construction? Well, I bet you've seen lots of buildings just pop up in your neighborhood, in your community, and around in surrounding areas. A lot of those buildings are grocery stores that you see, but you also see a lot of places that have barns and factories and plants where they take a lot of our fruits and vegetables and the chemists test them and they test the soil to make sure that plants can grow in them. And a lot of things happen behind those doors that we're not aware of. But a lot of those buildings are built by construction workers. So we're going to learn about those things. How many of you you may live in a home, you may live in an apartment, you may live in a trailer, you may live with a friend in a community building. Whatever you live in, this shows you all these things are constructed and built by builders like Paul. You may even have seen birdhouses, small or large, that are also built for birds. That's construction. They put it together. So all of these things work together. And guess what? When we talk about agriculture and things, that's plants. You see plants on here. You see the birdhouses that are building construction. So they all blend together. They come together in our world as we look at these things. You may see farmers on the side of the road selling their vegetables, and they have stands which were built for them to display their goods. So that's how we make a connection between agriculture and we make it between building and construction. So join me today as you still do what? Think about careers. How many of you have thought about maybe doing farming or being a chemist to test the plants and the vegetables in the soil that we're going to have to cultivate and use to make the good things that we're going to eat? So let's begin with one of our friends and talk about all those wonderful buildings. Oh, and I forgot. For you ladies and guys, you may even want to do some driving of a tractor or machinery, equipment that's used out on the farmland. Does this look familiar? Or it can be used for construction, depending on what they're doing. These kinds of vehicles are used to dig holes in grounds and all of those things. So everything kind of is a circle of life, as you've heard in many times before. So today, let's talk about construction workers where right in our community. What's this? That's what they call a hard hat. It's a safety measure that's used by construction workers, builders, so that they can protect themselves when they're on the job. We wouldn't want anything heavy falling on them or hurting them. So these hard hats are used. That's a part of safety. So now let's find out some of the work that the construction workers do in our very own community. So join me as we read this book by Bridget Huss, illustrated by Mike Moran. It is an early bird story. So let's begin. Building a playground. Our class is visiting a construction site. Mr. Moore will show us how construction workers build a building. We have to stay outside the fence. Workers only go in a construction area. See the safety hat? There you go. This isn't just any construction site. It's our new school. Right now, it's mostly dirt. We can play King of the Hill, Aiden says. Mr. Moore smiles. The dirt will be flat soon. You'll have a playground on top. See how easy and quickly things change in your neighborhood and around in your communities. Safety first. Mr. Moore leads the workers. They follow plans to make a building. Construction workers wear hard hats to protect their head. They wear orange safety vests so others can see them. A concrete mixer beeps as it backs up. The beeper tells workers to move. Wet concrete flows through a pipe to the ground. This will be our school floor. Mr. Moore says the concrete will dry and harden. Carpets and rugs will go on top of it. Green School. Mason builds the walls with brick. Someone runs wires for electricity through the walls. Crunch. A few bricks break. They will be recycled. So will other leftover materials. We can't wait for our school to be finished. What does it mean if a building is green? Learn about being a community helper. Some construction workers work on buildings. Some build roads. Iron workers, concrete workers, carpenters, roofers, and plumbers are all considered construction workers. An excavator digs wide ditches for basements. It digs narrow ditches called trenches for water pipes. It also moves dirt for making roads. Remember, I showed you machinery. Drivers must get concrete to construct sites quickly. Concrete begins to dry after about 90 minutes. Then it becomes hard. It won't pour. That's what they're using, things like that, to build your new schools. You may be sitting in a school that is a new school, or you may be sitting in a school that was constructed a long time ago. Nevertheless, it still has been done by a construction worker, working hard to build our community. Keep that in mind. Did you see something here that interests you? Something that you might want to do for a future career? Remember, we're thinking about what do I want to be when I grow up? Don't forget those soft skills. We'll keep reminding you, gotta communicate, study hard in school, learn, adapt, learn to get along with your classmates and each other, and listen to your teachers so that you can practice all of the things that you need to know to plan your future career. See you next week for another career adventure.